It's the Edexcel GCSE Maths Foundation Calculator Paper 3 from June 2023. Let's get straight into it. Question 1. Write the number 3,107 in figures. So the 3,000 would be written as 3 with 3 zeros. The 100 would be written with 1 and 2 zeros, and the 7 is just a 7 on its own. If you add up all of these, you get 3,107. Question 2. Write 3/10 as a percentage. What's 3/10 as a decimal? So if you do 3 divided by 10, you can do this on your calculator. It's 0.3, and if you press the S to D button, it would change it to a decimal. How do you convert decimals into percentages? You would just times by 100. So that would give you 30%. Another way that you could do this, you've got 3 over 10. And if I think about what percentages are out of, they're always out of 100. So I need my denominator to be over 100. On the bottom, I've times by 10, and on the top, I've also times by 10. So that would be 30 over 100, or 30%. Question 3. Simplify m plus m plus m plus m. This means 1 lots of m plus 1 lots of m plus 1 lots of m plus 1 lots of m. So I have 4 lots of m. So you'd write this as 4 multiplied by m, and you've got an invisible time sign between the 4 and the m. Question 4. Change 4,000 grams into kilograms. How many grams do you have in 1 kilogram? So in 1 kilogram, you have 1,000 grams, and I want 4,000 grams. On the right-hand side, what have I multiplied to get from 1,000 to 4,000? I multiplied by 4. On the left-hand side, I need to do the same. So 1 kilogram times by 4 would be 4 kilograms. So the answer is 4. Question 5. Write these numbers in order of size. Start with the smallest number. I can see I've got some negatives and I've got some positives. Let's do the negatives first. So that's that one and that one. So -5 and -2. Let's just imagine we've got a number line. 0 would be over here. We'd have -1, then -2, -3, -4, -5. The smallest number would be the -5. The next one would be this -2. Then we've got 3, 7, and 9. Question 6. The diagram shows a shape on a centimeter grid. Find the area of the shape. What does area mean? It just means the amount of space that's inside the shape. Because all of the lengths are centimeters, we'll count in how many centimeter squares we have inside. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So that would be 14 centimeters squared. Part B, find the perimeter of the shape. What does perimeter mean? It just means the length around the outside of the shape. So I'm going to start from this point, and I'm going to count each square along. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So that's 18 centimeters. Question 7. Here is a 4-sided spinner. Samina spins the spinner once. Choose the word that best describes the probability that the spinner lands on 2. How do we normally write probabilities? So we write probabilities as the successes over the number of outcomes. Here we have 2 2s, so that means there's 2 chances of having a success. There's 4 possible options, so it's 2 out of 4, and if you simplify that, divide by 2 on the top and the bottom, you get 1 over 2. So that would be 50%, or 0.5, that would be evens. Part B, choose the word that best describes the probability that the spinner lands on a number less than 4. So how many numbers are less than 4? All of them are less than 4, so it's guaranteed to happen. It's definitely going to happen. So this one would be certain. It'd have a 1 chance of happening, so that's certain. Ralph rolls a biased dice once. The probability that he gets the number 5 is 0.4. Work out the probability that Ralph does not get the number of 5. The probability of something happening will be 1, so we have to do 1 minus the probability of getting a 5, which is 0.4. 1 take away 0.4 is 0.6. Question 8. A quadrilateral has 4 right angles and 4 sides of equal lengths. Write down the mathematical name of this quadrilateral. Because they're of equal length, we're going to have a square. So all of these are the same sides and all of these are right angles. So the only shape that it could be would be a square. The diagram shows a solid shape. Write down the mathematical name of this shape. So this one is just a cuboid. Question 9. The table shows the number of books read by 4 people in 1 month. Work out the median number of books. So these people have read these amount of books. So we're going to write these amount of books in a list. We've got 7, 9, 1, 5. What does the word median mean? It just means we need to find the middle number. So we're going to order these numbers first. So 1, 5, 7, and 9. And we're going to find the middle of these numbers. So I'm going to cross one out from the left, one out from the right, and I'm left with these two. So I need to find the middle of those two. Between 5 and 7, it's going to be 6. If it's a little bit trickier, you just find the mean of those two numbers. You would do 5 add 7, and then you would divide that by 2. 5 add 7 is 12, and 12 divided by 2 gives you 6. Part B, find the range. Range is just the largest, take away the smallest. So what's the largest number here? It's 9. The smallest number is 1, so I'm doing 9, take away 1, which is 8. Part C, on the grid, draw a bar chart to show the information in the table. So we've got X, M, K, and T. Right, X, K, M, and T. And those are 7, 9, 1, and 5. We need to draw a scale on for our y-axis, so that'd be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And let's do these. So we're doing X, which is at 7. I'll draw a line at 7, and then I'll draw 2 lines going down. So do this with a ruler and do this with a pencil. 9, draw a line at 9, draw 2 lines down. Then M is at 1. T is at 5. Main thing you need here is gaps between them. Question 10. Wayne begins walking at 8:30 a.m. He walks for 1 hour and 45 minutes. Wayne then rests for 15 minutes. He then walks for 85 minutes to a cafe. Does Wayne get to the cafe before 12 noon? So that's midday. Show how you get your answer. There's 2 ways that you can do this. You can either use your calculator for this, or you can just work it out normally. Wayne starts his journey at 8:30 a.m. and we're adding on 1 hour and 45 minutes. If we add 1 hour, that takes us to 9:30, and if we add 45 more minutes, that would take us past 10 to 10:15. So we've added on that 1 hour 45 so far. Next, we're going to combine these two, so 85 plus 15 is the same as 100. So we're adding on 100 minutes. How many hours and minutes is that? That would be 1 hour with 40 minutes. So we're adding on 1 hour and 40 minutes onto that. Adding 1 hour would be 11:15, add another 40 minutes would be 11:55. So he ends at 11:55. Another way that you could do this, you can press the apostrophe button on this calculator. So you press that first, and this is in days right now. Then you would press 8:30. So I'm going to press 8 for hours, and then I'm going to press the apostrophe button again. Then 30, press the apostrophe button again, and it should show it as 8:30. This is my hours, and that's my minutes, that's my seconds. Then I'm adding on 1 hour and 45. So I'm going to press the apostrophe button again, press 1, apostrophe, and 45 for 45 minutes, close it, so apostrophe again, and then adding, I'll just combine these two so it's easier, adding 100 minutes. So apostrophe, that'll be 0 because it's not in hours, and apostrophe again, 100. That's 100 minutes. Then close it off, and you can see it gives you the same answer. So this could be a way that you could check your answer. So finishes at 11:55, so the answer is yes, he gets to the cafe before 12 noon. Question 11. Gabriel thinks of a number. We're going to choose to label this number as X. He multiplies his number by 5, so we can write it as 5 times by X, or 5X, and then add 7, so adding 7 to this. His answer is 72, so that's equal to 72. What number did Gabriel think of? So what's happening to this X right now? It's being multiplied by this 5, and then we're adding 7 to it. So we need to do the opposites of that. We're going to take away 7 first because it was the last thing that happened. We're going to take away 7 from the left and take away 7 from the right. That leaves us with 5x is equal to 72 take away 7 is 65. X is being multiplied by 5, so we're going to divide by 5 on both sides. So x would be equal to 65 divided by 5 would be 13. You can check this on your calculator. You can type in 5, press the alpha button, and then you're looking for this right bracket where the x is above it. Then you've got 5x, and then I want plus 7. I don't want to press equals, I want to press this solve button here. So I'm going to press shift and then calculate. So it's giving me this equals, and that's equal to 72. And now I'm going to press equals. On your calculator, you might need to press enter twice, but it gives me x equals 13, and that matches up with my answer. You could also check it just by doing 13 times by 5 and adding 7. It would give you 72. Question 12. Some students take a guitar exam. The pie chart shows information about the grades the students got. Write down the modal grade. What does modal mean? It just means the most popular. So which one here is most popular? The one that's taken up the most area, it's got the biggest angle, is merit. 7 students got distinction. Work out the total number of students who took the guitar exam. If we know 7 students got a distinction, which is 105 degrees, let's just write that. So 7 students, which was worth 105 degrees. In a pie chart, what do all of the angles add up to? We've got angles around a point, so it would add up to 360. So we're trying to find what 360 degrees are. What number is nice that goes into both 105 and 360? Because I can see this ends in a 5 and this ends in a 0, they both divide by 5. I'm going to scale this one down by dividing by something to get to 5, and then I'm going to multiply it by something to get to 360. What have I divided by on the right hand side to get from 105 to 5? I've divided by 21. So on the left hand side, I also need to divide by 21. 7 divided by 21 is the same as 7 over 21, which is 1/3. You can do that on your calculator. Then on the right hand side, what have I multiplied by to get from 5 to 360? I can do 360 divided by 5, which is 72. So I've multiplied by 72 there. I'm going to do the same thing to the left hand side. I'm going to multiply by 72. 72 times by 1/3, you could do 1/3 of 72. So 72 divided by 3 is just 24. You can do all of that on your calculator. So that's 24 people who took the exam. And if you look at my original fact, if I multiply this by 3, I get to around 360. And if I multiply this by 3, I get to 21, which is close to my answer. So it looks appropriate. Question 13. Rowena drove from her home to a beach. Here is a travel graph for her journey. Rowena stopped at a cafe on her way to the beach. How many minutes did Rowena take to drive to the cafe? You can see on the distance time graph, she's traveling between this and this point. She stops for a little bit and then she travels a little bit further. We want to find how many minutes it takes to drive to the cafe. We know that this is where she stopped, that's the cafe, so we just need to find that amount of time. How many gaps are there between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 gaps. 4 gaps, which is worth 1 hour. So each gap, if I divide this by 4, 1 gap will be equal to 15 minutes. So we've got 12:15, that would be 12:30. So how many minutes did it take? It took between there and there, that would be 30 minutes. Part 2, write down the distance from Rowena's home to the cafe. We'll find the distance between Rowena's home, where she set off from, and the cafe, which is where she stopped. So that would be 10 miles. Rowena stayed at the beach for 1.5 hours. She then drove home without stopping. Rowena arrived home at 4 p.m. On the grid, complete the travel graph. So we're going to have to stop at the beach for 1.5 hours. Let's see what time it is right now. So if we look at where we're currently at, if I go down, this is where we're at. This is 1 o'clock, this is 1:15, and that's 1:30. We're staying on the beach for 1 hour and 30. So if I stay for 1 hour, that's going across by 4. If I be 2 more, and then she returns home. And she returns home at 4 o'clock. So we just draw a line going from where she left the beach to 4 o'clock. Work out the average speed for the journey from the beach to Rowena's home. So we're trying to find the speed that it took to get from the beach back to home. So first thing that we need to think about is how long did it take? So she left the beach at 3 p.m. or 1500. She arrived back at home at 4 p.m. and she's traveling 35 miles. You can see it's gone from 35 down to 0. So that means within 1 hour, she's drove 35 miles. And this one's quite nice because it's just 1 hour, she's drove 35 miles per hour. Question 14. 120 boxes cost £6 and 270 bags cost £10. A bag is cheaper than a box. How much cheaper? Give your answer in pence correct to 1 decimal place. Let's just write these out. We've got 120 boxes and that's £6. And we have 270 bags which cost £10. We want to find out how much 1 bag is and 1 box is. So if we want to find 1 box, on the left hand side, what have we divided by to get from 120 down to 1? We've divided by 120 there, so I'm going to divide by 120 there. On my calculator, I do 6 divided by 120, which gives me 0.05. And this is in pounds and pence, so it's 5p. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm trying to find out the price of 1 bag. On the left, I've divided by 270. On the right, I'm going to also divide by 270. So 10 divided by 270, which is 0.037. Need to remember these are in pounds or pence. We want to compare our answers in pence, so I'm just going to convert these into pence. Converting pounds into pence, you multiply by 100, so that would be 5 pence. And for this one, I'd move it 2 decimal places to the right, multiplying by 100, that would give me 3.7 pence. The bag is cheaper. I just need to find out how much cheaper. So I'm going to do 5 take away 3.7, which gives me 1.3. So it's 1.3p cheaper. Question 15. There are only red beads and green beads in a bag. So I've got red and greens. The number of red beads to the number of green beads is in the ratio 1 to 4. So 1 to 4. There are 35 red beads in the bag. So I'm going to write 35 below the reds. Work out the total number of beads in the bag. So I need to find all of the beads and I need to add them up together to find the total number. On the left hand side, what have I multiplied by to get from 1 to 35? I multiplied by 35 there. I'll multiply by 35 there. 4 times by 35, double it twice, so 70 and 140. We need to find the total, so we're going to add up both of these. We're doing 140 plus 35, which gives us 175 beads in total. Question 16. Describe fully the single transformation that maps shape A onto shape B. So we're trying to go from shape A onto shape B. And you can see it's going to be a rotation. We just need to figure out which direction it's going in and where's the center of rotation. So I'm going to write rotation, and that gets me a mark. Then I would use my tracing paper. I would draw over A, and then I would rotate it. And this would be anti-clockwise because the clock goes in that direction. Turn it 90 degrees anti-clockwise. And I would try it at different points, but the first point that I would try it on would be 0, 0, and then I'd move my point about if I needed to try a different one. But this one would be correct, so it would be 90 degrees anti-clockwise. Question 17. The diagram shows the position of town T. So we've got this T and there's a north line going up. Town R is 55 kilometers from town T on a bearing of 65 degrees. Mark the position of town R with a cross X. Use a scale of 1 centimeter to 10 kilometers. So before we do this question, let's first figure out how long are we going to have to draw this line. I'm going to just write the scale. We've got 1 centimeter to 10 kilometers. And we're trying to draw 55 kilometers. On the right hand side, what have I multiplied by to get from 10 to 55? Do 55 divided by 10, which is 5.5. So I've times by 5.5 there. I need to times by 5.5 there. So my line, when I draw it, is going to be 5.5 centimeters. So I'm just going to make a plan how I'm going to do this. I'll draw an angle of 65 degrees, and then we draw a line that's 5.5 centimeters long, and that would equate to 55 kilometers. So I'll do it here. I've got my protractor. I'm going to move my protractor over to the line, making sure the center of that protractor is on the edge of that line. I can see it's there. And then I start at 0 and I go to 65. So you can see 60 is here and 70 is here. And 65 is between both of them. So I'm just going to draw a point there. I'll move my protractor away and then I'll put my ruler there. I'll put the edge at 0 on the edge of that line. And then I need to just extend this line. I'm going past that point where I drew at 65 degrees. And I'm going to extend it to 5.5 centimeters. So that's what my line would look like. Last thing that I would do is just draw a north line going from there and label this as R. Question 18. Solve 4 and in brackets 2x minus 3 equals 20. There's two ways you could do this. One way you could do it is expand out this bracket and then solve it like a normal equation. Another way that you could do this is because everything on the left hand side is being multiplied by this 4, you could choose to divide by 4 first on both sides. So that would get rid of this 4 and then we're just left with 2x minus 3 is equal to 20 divided by 4, which is 5. Then x is being multiplied by 2 and then we're taking away 3. So we need to do the opposite of taking away 3. We're going to add 3 to both sides. 2x is equal to 5 add 3, which is 8. Dividing by 2 on both sides to get rid of that times by 2. So x would be equal to 4. You could substitute it back in just to check it. The other way you could do it, you could expand out that bracket. So you're doing 4 times by 2x, which is 8x. 4 times by negative 3, which is negative 12, is equal to 20. Then we're going to add 12 to both sides. So 8x is equal to 32. Divide by 8 on both sides, x would be equal to 4. And you could also check this with your calculator. Question 19. Jenny invests £3,000 for 6 years at Y% simple interest per year. At the end of the 6 years, Jenny has received a total of £450 in interest. Work out the value of Y. What does it mean when we're earning simple interest? It means that we're earning the same amount of interest every year. We're not earning a different amount every year. It's not increasing or it's not decreasing. The first thing that we need to do here is find out how much Jenny is earning for 1 year, and then we're going to have to multiply that by 6 because there's 6 years, and that will equal to 450. So let's just imagine we're trying to find out how much she's earning in the first year. We would do 3,000 multiplied by this Y%. So we're going to multiply it by Y, and that would tell us how much she's earning in the first year. If we want to find out how much he's earning for 6 years, we'd just multiply this by 6, and that would equal 450. We just need to solve this. Everything on the left-hand side is being multiplied by 3,000 and by 6. So I'm going to divide by 3,000 and by 6. So I'm doing y is equal to 450 divided by 3,000 times by 6. I'm going to type this in onto my calculator. So I've got 450 divided by 3,000 times 6 is 18,000. That gives me 0.025. So 0.025. Right now this is in decimals, but I need it as a percentage. So I need to multiply this by 100 and move the decimal place 2 places, 1, 2, to give me 2.5%. You can check this. If you find 2.5% of 3,000, you times it by 6, you would get 450. Question 20. Simplify m squared to the power of 3. Whenever you have a power to a power, you just multiply them together. So I'm going to do 2 times by 3, which is 6. So it's m to the power of 6. Part B. Simplify x to the 5 times by x to the 8. Whenever you're multiplying and you have the same base, you just add the powers up together. So I'm doing 5 add 8, which is 13, x to the power of 13. Part C. Expand 4p and in brackets p squared plus 3p. So I'm multiplying everything on the outside by everything on the inside. Doing 4p times by this p squared first. So 4 times by 1 is 4. P times by this p squared. I'm going to add the powers. So 1 and 2 is 3. So p to the power of 3. Then we're doing 4p multiplied by this 3p. So 4 times by 3 is 12. And p times by p is p squared. Question 21. Johnny wants to know how much coffee he will need for 800 people at a meeting. Each person who drinks coffee will drink 2 cups of coffee. 10.6 grams of coffee is needed for each cup of coffee. Johnny assumes 68% of the people will drink coffee. Using this assumption, work out the amount of coffee Johnny needs. Give your answer correct to the nearest gram. First thing that I'm going to work out is how many people will need coffee. He's assuming that 68% of the 800 will need coffee. So how do we find 68% of 800? All we need to do here is convert this to a decimal and then we multiply it by the number that we're trying to find the percentage for. So 68 divided by 100 would be 0.68 times it by 800. So 0.68 times 800 is 544. So this is saying 544 people, he's assuming 544 people will be drinking coffee. And each person will be drinking 2 cups, so I'm going to multiply it by 2, so 544 times by 2. And each person will drink 10.6 grams per cup, so I need to multiply it by 10.6 as well. Multiply all of those together, 544 times by 2 times by 10.6, which is 11,532.8. 11,532.8 grams. It wants the answer correct to the nearest gram, so I'm going to look where the decimal point is, and I'm looking at the digit, the 10th after that. If it's 5 or above, I'm going to give it a shove, and if it's 4 or below, I just let everything go. Because it's 5 and above, I'm going to round this one up, and it's going to become 533. So it would round to 11,533 to the nearest gram. Johnny's assumption is wrong. 72% of the people will drink coffee. How does this affect your answer to part A? If I look in part A, 68% of the people are going to be drinking coffee, but in part B, it's saying his assumption was wrong, 72% of people. So because there's a higher percentage, the amount of people that will be drinking coffee will be higher. So the answer will be higher as there are more people drinking coffee. Question 22. ACF and ADG are straight lines. So A to C to F is a straight line and A to D to G is also a straight line. Show that triangle ACD is isosceles. We're trying to prove that this triangle over here, A to C to D, is isosceles. A triangle is isosceles if 2 of the angles are the same. So it'll either be AC or AD or DA or DC. That will be the same. Which of these could I find easily? So I can see ADC is a straight line. So I'm going to try and find this angle. Because this is a straight line, both of these angles will add up to 180. So ADC is equal to 180. Take away this 110, which is equal to 70. So this angle is 70, and the reason for that was because angles on a straight line add to 180. The next rule that I can see, because I've got parallel lines, I've got these 2 parallel lines, I've got this angle at EFC, this angle over here will be corresponding, it'll be matching up with this angle ACB. I've got an upside down F shape, so if I see a F shape, those two angles will be equal to each other. So I'm going to write this one as 125. So angle ACB is equal to 125 as it's corresponding to angle EFA. Next rule that I can see, I've got another straight line here, so I can find this angle. This add this would be equal to 180. So I'm going to do ACD is equal to 180 minus 125, which is equal to 55. So this angle would be 55. And that was same as ADC. Last rule that I need just to find this missing angle in this triangle. I know angles in a triangle add up to 180. So if I add up these two, take it away from 180, I'm hoping the answer will either be 55 or 70. That missing angle at FAG is equal to 180, take away 55, take away 70. And that would be equal to 180, take away 125, which is 55 degrees. So this angle is 55 degrees. And that was because angles in a triangle add to 180. Last thing that I need to show is how is this an isosceles triangle. So because these two angles are the same, the base angles in an isosceles are going to be equal to each other. So this side will be equal to that side. To finish this off, I'm just going to write CAD equals ACD. So CAD equals ACD. Therefore, this triangle over here, ACD is an isosceles triangle as base angles are equal. Question 23. It takes 14 hours for 5 identical pumps to fill a water tank. How many hours would it take 4 of these pumps to fill another water tank of the same size? Let's just put this into a table. So I've got hours, and then on the right hand side I'm going to put pumps. If I have 5 pumps, it's going to take me 14 hours. Let's just think, if I had 1 pump, how long would it take? On the right hand side, I've divided by 5, and on the left hand side, should I multiply by 5 or should I divide by 5? Will it take longer or will it take less time if I have less amount of pumps? It's going to take longer, so I need to multiply by 5. 14 multiplied by 5 is 70. I want to find out how long it takes 4 pumps to do the same job. On the right hand side, I've multiplied by 4, and on the left hand side, I need to do the opposite of that. I need to divide by 4. So 70 divided by 4, half it twice, so that would be 35 and 17.5. It would take 17.5 hours for 4 pumps to do that job. Question 24. A and B are numbers such that A is equal to this and B is equal to this. Find the highest common factor, the HCF of A and B. Easy way to do this is you just find the lowest power of the common factors. So what are the common factors? 2 isn't common, 3 is common, but what's the lowest power of that? That would be this 3 squared. So I'm going to write 3 squared first. Then I'm going to look at this 7. There's 7 that's common, and the lowest power of that is this 7 to a power of invisible 1. So it's 3 squared times by 7. 3 squared is 9, and 9 times by 7 would be 63. Part B, find the lowest common multiple of A and B. An easy way to do this is if you find the highest power of all of the unique factors. So 2 is a unique factor, and the highest power of that is 2 squared. So I'm going to start off with 2 squared. Then I'm looking, I can see a 3 is unique, and the highest power of that is 3 to the power of 4. So times it by 3 to the power of 4. Then I can see I've got a 7 that's also unique, and the highest power of that is this 7 squared. So I'm timesing by 7 squared. Just type that in. So you've got 2 squared, 2 to the power of 2, times by 3 to the power of 4, times by 7 squared. So that would be 49. That gives me 15,876. You can check these on your calculator. Over here, I can see I've got these 2 buttons, greatest common divisor and lowest common multiple. I need to press alpha and then press greatest common divisor to find this highest common factor. It's just a different way of saying highest common factor. Then for this first one, I'm going to type in 2 squared times 3 to the power of 4 times 7. So 2 squared times 3 to the power of 4 times by 7. And the next number is 3 squared times by 7 squared. I'm going to put a comma in first by pressing shift, and where this right bracket is, there's this comma, and then type in 3 squared times by 7 squared. That shows me that highest common factor is 63, and that matches up with my answer. Do this lowest common multiple next. Quick way you could do it, just delete this bracket and the greatest common divisor, and then press alpha, and then you're looking for LCM, and it'll show LCM, and then just move this bracket. So delete that N1 and move your right bracket to the end, and it's already done it for me. So 15,876, and it matches up with my answer, so it's correct. Question 25. Lava flows from a volcano at a constant rate of 11.9 meters cubed per second. How many days does it take for 67,205,600 meters cubed of lava to flow from the volcano? Give your answer correct to the nearest day. Because it wants it correct to the nearest day, and this is in seconds, I want to figure out how much lava is flowing from the volcano every day. So in seconds, I've got 11.9 meters cubed per second. I want to convert that into minutes, so I would multiply that by 60 to turn it into minutes. I'd multiply it by 60 again, because there's 60 minutes in an hour, to convert it into hours. And then I would multiply it by 24, because there's 24 hours in a day. If I do all of this, this will tell me how much lava is flowing every day. Type that in. I've got 11.9 times by 60 times by 60 times by 24, which is 1028,160, 1,028,000. I want to figure out how long it takes this amount of lava to flow, so I'm going to do this one divided by this one. So 67,205,600 over 1028,160. Just do 67,205,600 and divide it by my previous answer. So just press the AND button. That'd be 65.364. We want it correct to the nearest day, so we're going to look after the decimal point. This 3 is telling me I'm going to be rounding down, so we would round down to 65 days. Question 26. Here is a graph of y equals x squared minus 2x minus 2. Write down the coordinates of the turning point on the graph y equals x squared minus 2x minus 2. It's helpful that they've already drawn it. We're just finding where it turns. Where does the gradient go from negative to a positive? So I can see the x coordinate going along the corridor is 1, and down the stairs the y coordinate is negative 3. So it's 1, negative 3. Part B. Write down an estimate for one of the roots of x squared minus 2x minus 2 equals 0. The clue here is roots. There's 2 of them. There's multiple. So there's 2 places where it crosses the x-axis. That's the clue. I'm going to choose this one. You could choose either this one or this one. I'm going to choose the positive one just to avoid making mistakes. I can see it's between 2 and 3. And if I look between 1 and 2, there's 5 gaps. That's equal to 1. So each gap is going to equal, if I divide this by 5, I get 0.2. So going backwards, that would be 2.8, and it's halfway between 2.8 and 2.6, the previous one. So it's going to be 2.7. Question 27. A solid cuboid is made of metal. The metal has a density of 9 grams per centimeter cubed, and the volume of the cuboid is 72 centimeters cubed. Work out the mass of the cuboid. Formula triangle that we're going to be using here is mass, density, and volume. And we have the density, which is 9, and we have the volume, which is 72. We're trying to find what the mass is. So we're going to do the density multiplied by the volume. We're doing 9 times by 72, which is 648 grams. Question 28. Write 9 times 10 to the power of 4 to 4.5 times 10 to the power of 6 in the form 1 to n, where n is an integer. So this is just a unitary form question where we're trying to get it in the form 1 to something else. An easy way to describe how I would do this, if I had the ratio 10 to 5 and I want to get this down to 1, to get from 10 to 1, I divide by 10, and I would do the same thing to the right hand side. I divide that by 10. 5 divided by 10 would be 0.5. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I want 1 on the left hand side, so I need to divide by this number, 9 times by 10 to the 4, 2, and I'm going to divide by this on the right hand side as well, 9 times 10 to the 4. I'm going to do this on my calculator, so I have 4.5 times 10 to the 6, so open up a bracket, 4.5 times by, and you can just type this button, so I'm going to do shift and press this log, and it gives me times 10 to the something, so I want a 6 there, and it's being divided by, open up a bracket, 9 times by shift and this 10. Yours might be down here. Just have a look where yours is on your calculator. And that would be a 4. And it gives me an answer of 50. So I put 50 over here. Part B, write the following numbers in order of size. Start with the smallest number. I've got all of these numbers in standard form, so I could use my calculator to convert all of these, but I'm just going to do it by hand. 5.625 times 10 to the 4. If I multiply this number by 10 to the 1, this decimal point would move there. If I multiply it by 10 to the 2, it would move there, 10 to the 3, and then 10 to the 4, I need an extra 0. So that number is the same as 56250. This number is going to stay exactly the same, 5625. Because this is a negative 3, if I'm timesing by 10 to the negative 1, it's the same as timesing by 1 over 10 or dividing by 10. So this would be moving 3 places backwards. So I need to move it 1, 2, 3. It's going to be 56.25. For the next one, I'm multiplying it by 10 to the 5. So I need to move my decimal point 5 places to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's between the 2 and the 5. So I've got 562.5. We just need to compare these. I'm looking for the smallest number. I can see the largest digit in this one is my 10, so this one will be the smallest one. So that would be 56250 times 10 to the negative 3. That's that one. Then the largest digit I can see in this one is hundreds. So I'm going to write this one, 0.005625 times 10 to the 5. That's that one done. Then the largest digit here is thousands, so that would be 5625. And this one is remaining, so I've got 5.625 times 10 to the 4. That's the end of the paper for today. I'd recommend you check out all of the questions that you struggle with before you attempt another past paper and study those topics first. Feel free to reach out if you need any help with anything. Otherwise, you can check out my channel for more walkthroughs and work solutions, including the ones from this year's set. I'll see you soon.